show me this, show me you in this life. What's better than this, haven't never missed. Gladly show me this, show me you.
Top of the day. Happy New Year. It's Ester Davis with a brand new year. How's it going with you? We wanted to start out, this is our first show of the new year, but we had to start it with the right persons in mind. And you all love the Archbishops. We have one of them today, and which doesn't matter because we enjoy them when they whenever they can come. So we're going to have a Happy New Year. We're going to give you some things to live with for this brand new year. And, of course, Bishop Joe is back. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Peace of God be with you.
Peace of God be with you.
And, you know, you look like the new year.
I don't know what is that good or bad.
Yeah, it's good, you know. The color, the green.
The color. Yes.
It sets a good tone for the year.
Thank you.
You know, when they say the land is green, that means all is well. So I know this year is going to be good for all of us.
I love green. I don't like the, I posted a picture of my backyard with these big trees and the snow when we had the little bitty snow, but I'm waiting for springtime.
All right.
Because everything just
when
bust
the real
loose.
greens will come out.
Yeah, everything just bust loosed. How are you? How's the New Year treating you?
Treating me good. You know, like when the father came, you happened to meet him in last November.
Yes.
He made a statement on the 1st of January. He said, this year, 2024, will be a year like no other.
Oh.
That is, it's a year full of promises, a year full of opportunities, a year full of challenges, and a year full of changes too, you know. So a lot is going to happen in the year, and that is why I love the color you came with, the color of hope. So let all of us work towards that hope.
I will remember that. Green is the color of hope. Well, what are we going to start this new year out with?
Well, there's a lot to look at because we need to set the tone for the year for each and every one of us. Today is, I think, how many days in the month already? This is 22nd January.
Yeah.
A lot of people made so many New Year resolutions on the 31st and 1st, but I'm sure by now, if they made 20 resolutions, they've broken 18.
You think they've broken them already?
Yeah.
The bishop says, if you made a resolution, have you broken it already? So you don't make New Year's resolutions?
You know, the best resolution I've ever made is, well, God, here I am.
Yes.
Thank you for the past year. It was good. The good, the bad, and ugly put together, combined, made a beautiful experience. We're moving into another year, another chance, another opportunity, because many did not make it. Even as at 11:59 p.m. on 31st night, some people moved on to the other side. But I was able to cross to the next year. So we've come to a new year. The best resolution, guide my steps. Make me better than I was last year. Give me the ability to become a better version of myself, not just spiritually alone, physically, mentally, financially, morally, socially, in all respect, that I could add value, so that the day they say, hey, Archbishop Joseph is no longer there. If 5 out of 10 people remember him for some good deed, I think that's a good year. And that's what I hope for. Yeah.
That's a good year.
Yes.
So you met with the father in, since I've met him,
Yes.
I've been sort of infatuated with him. Don't tell him I said that. But now that you've met with him, you went to Atlanta, and how was that meeting?
It was a great meeting because, remember I told you the last time we met here that he said the 31st of December to be a day of spiritual cleansing and purification. so that the children will be prepared for the year 2024, because according to him, the year 2024 is a mixed bag.
A mixed bag?
Yeah. There will be crisis, there will be calamities, there will be pandemics, there will be good things too. Because, if everything is good, God is not there. And if everything is bad, God is not there. Like we enjoy the electric energy, it's a combination of the positive and negative charge.
Yeah.
So both must be there. But 2024 has a lot of positive things to give humanity, and it has a lot of challenges awaiting mankind.
How do you prepare us for these challenges? We don't like the challenges.
Yes.
Of course.
It said in the book of Isaiah, it said, except the Lord build the city,
okay,
the laborer keepeth her work, but in vain. I think it's Isaiah chapter 66, verse 1. And he said, except the Lord watch over the city. No, it's Psalm 127. Sorry, I made a mistake.
Isaiah.
Psalm 127, verse 1.
Okay.
He said, except the Lord build the city, the laborer laboreth, but in vain. And except the Lord watch over the city, the watchman keepeth her work in vain. Left to man, we cannot help ourselves. But if we are ready to let go and let God, take the lead. Because when we're ready to let go and we're ready to let God take the lead, God always leads us to the best path, because he said, my thought towards you are thoughts of good and not of evil, that you will have the expected end. See,
He's saying a lot. Thoughts of good and thoughts
not of evil. Not of evil. Positive thoughts. You want, like your grandmother, your mother, right? You want your children, you want your grandchildren to have the best life can offer. And you're ready to give it to them. But you expect them to maintain certain levels of decency, certain conduct, that to enable your blessing manifest in their life. God wants us to follow his way. He wants us to obey his injunctions. He wants us to quit from all those negativities we've applied in the past, because he never helped us.
True.
Yes.
A lot of other things. But I want to go back to this resolutions. Don't make resolutions. Unless you're going to keep them.
But it's difficult to keep.
Yes, they are.
Absolutely difficult, because when it's okay, hey, this year I ain't going to drink no more, I ain't going to smoke, I ain't going to do this, all this, you make a list of what you think are your ills. You realize that even on that very first day of the year, you remember, hey, after all, Paul told Timothy, take a little wine for your stomach's sake. You've broken your resolution.
Yes, you have.
But when you allow God to lead you, resolve to be a better person.
Okay. Allow God
to lead you.
Yeah,
then resolve to be a better person. Be more obedient to God's injunctions and his will. Accept your brother's fault. Accommodate him. Tolerate him. Let more love come into our existence.
Oh, I like that, Bishop.
Yes.
Let more love come in versus the hate and the killings.
And the killings, because the Bible said in John 10, verse 10, that the thief cometh but for to kill, to steal, and to destroy. Say, but the Son of Man came that we might have life more abundantly. So if we allow God to take the lead, Christ gave us an example, and we just celebrated the universally agreed birthday on the 25th of December.
Yes. Yeah.
And that is a man who came ready to sacrifice himself, and he showed us an example. He said, this is my commandment. Love one another, even as I have loved you. He went further to say in John 13, 34 and 35, he said, a new commandment I give unto you, that you love one another even as I have loved you. He said, by this shall all men know that you are my disciples, if you have love one for another. If you go around the world, look at last year, 2 lives lost, Israel and Gaza, Russia and Ukraine, in Ethiopia, in Eritrea, in Burma, in Bangladesh, everywhere you go, even in America, it is boiling. Internally, the tension, the heat is there. And what is causing it? Simply
what is causing it? Because even during the Christmas week, the Holy Week, there was no stopping. They continued to destroy each other.
And they forgot one funny thing. After the Jew finished killing the Arab, and they crossed to the next country to board a flight, all of them will sit inside the same container and be carried across the air to their destination. Everywhere nature teaches us that we are one.
Yeah, nature.
Yes.
Nature does. Even the animals can
Yes.
get along sometimes.
But amongst us, we try to, sort of resist one another, forgetting that our problem is this.
The color of the skin.
Yes.
The color
of the skin causes our problem. Even among the people of dark pigmentation, they still have the same problem. The pale pigmentation, our white brothers, they still have the same problem. They start looking at the different shades of the same color, but forgetting that there's only one color, and that is the color of the red.
Yeah,
and if
the
you
color
go beneath the skin, every
red.
color is red. So when we realize that beneath the skin we have one color, we should realize that we are one family. Learn to love one another, because an eye for an eye will leave all of us blind. And when we are blind, if the blind lead the blind, both will fall into the ditch. So
Blind
why don't
leading the blind.
Yes, why don't we keep our eyes open so that we can see the light and embrace the glory of God?
Bishop Joe is back talking to us about a New Year's program, how to get along in this brand new year. Obedience to the word. And he gave us a full accounting of what to expect for 2024. But when these two countries that we have fighting right now in the world, I can't tell the difference in their nationality. I mean, they are not my color, your color. They're all white. So how do they know the difference from the countries they live in, the languages that they speak? But just walking on the street, you have no idea.
Well, I think their challenge, even if you call it really, let's say they're olive. Because our brothers of the white color regard them as a darker shade from the reality we've been made to encounter. Now, okay, this one speaks Arabic, the other one speaks Hebrew.
Yeah,
but then we forgot that before the languages came in, there was one family.
We forgot that.
Yes, because we talk about the Tower of Babel, when God divided the languages of humanity. And all was for the reason because human innate ambition to dominate God. Because they say, hey, this God we are talking about, he's up there. Every time he's giving us instruction, I think it's better we go up there to find out from him, so that whenever we have need, we'll go to him and tell him our need. And then when they started doing their stuff, God decided, okay, these people are becoming too smart. And now they want to build a tower that they will come and meet us and demand whatever they want. Say, before they become too ambitious, let us go and divide their tongue. And if you check it across all human families, you realize that in most languages, they have interconnectivity.
They have what?
Interconnectivity.
Okay.
You realize one strange word in one African language, go to an Asian language, the same meaning, the same word, the same context. You go to a European language, you go to another part. Yes, many languages have similarities, even objects having the same name, same texture, same meaning, to show that we came from one language source. We are one family.
We're one family.
Then gradually, since the tongues came in, and you see the beauty of it, an Igbo child, like where I come from Africa, who happened to be born like in Russia, will speak Russian. Because that is the language he hears. We condition ourselves to the language based on the geographical location we find ourselves.
Wow. Wow. But the languages should bring us close together, because I've studied a little bit about religion and spirituality. The motto in all languages is basically the same. Do unto others
as you wish
as you
others to do
have
unto
them
you.
do unto you. It's the same.
Matthew chapter 7 verse 12.
Absolutely. Matthew, is that Matthew?
Matthew chapter 7 verse 12.
I am keeping track of the of the verses, and that's one of the hot buttons. What did you say, Dr. Davis, about the but I'm so happy that we're still continuing that process that the bishops placed in our hearts, and that's reading the scriptures. And that's been one of the questions that I get the most. What did he say about so-and-so?
He said,
amazing.
Simply, whatsoever you would that other men do to you, do so to others. And Christ went further to say, on this lies all the laws and the prophets. Because even if you look at it today, go to any nation, forget their language or their color.
Okay.
A father of a virgin girl in Africa is ready to kill any human being that defiled his daughter. The same father of a virgin girl in white America, in colored America,
Do the
the
same thing.
father of a virgin
right.
girl in India, in China. So it is one family structure. When people talk about Trinity, and in some religious context, they put three men, one wielding a mighty staff, the other one holding a huge sword,
Right,
and the other
right.
one holding a large scepter. But in all fairness, the Trinity is a family.
And that's a great message for the new year. We are family. I think it was Sly and the Family Stone that did
Yes.
that many, many years ago. But why can't we treat each other that way, Bishop?
If you understand the context of the family, that is the father, the mother, and the child, and as you love your own child in your own nuclear environment, then you realize that even if you're a soldier, you're given a gun to shoot, you're destroying one aspect of a family somewhere. If you're a fighter pilot, you fly in the air and drop your bombs and missiles, you're destroying family units. And if the family unit is united and there's love in them and they have appreciation for life and it continues in every unit of the human family, when that seed is carried from one family to the other and they come to the greater human family, we realize that we're like candles. You know, when the candles are burning, like when they want to do a candle light out for night for somebody that either passed away, you see those billions of candles or millions of candles or thousands of candles that they'll light in a stadium or a field or in a community. What you have in the air is a beautiful golden glow.
We have seen that, especially at memorials. And they use them at some stadiums.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
So if we can light the candle of love in our hearts to one another, you know, it's like in atomic physics. The atom is the minutest of the particles of matter. But when they fuse together, it can produce a bomb that can destroy a nation. So our tiny particles of love, our tiny particles of compassion for one another, our tiny particles of care, warmth, genuineness, trying to be our brother's keeper, you know, when
trying
it comes
to be
together,
our brother's
yes, becomes a huge light, and that will draw the grace and the benevolence from on high. God will manifest His glory upon us.
We're talking about the new year, 2024. The bishop is telling us that a lot of promise is going to come. The Father says a lot of challenges, a lot of changes, and crisis. But, you know, as I go through my day, I've been trying to look at my day sometimes and how many people will do great things, how many people will do some things, and those that do nothing. So as a female, I started to equate that to a door being open. So if I go to one of the department stores and somebody will hold the door, that happens 90% of the time. Every once in a while, you have somebody that will not hold the door. I mean, this is a simple act. This is not rocket science.
Yes.
Okay, parking is another thing. Everybody wants the choice parking spot. Well, that doesn't go so well, Bishop. I mean, even though from opening the door is one thing, it happens 90% of the time. If you look at parking, we're very bullish.
Yes, because you know the principle.
The principle.
Me, myself, and
I. I deserve this prime parking spot, and you don't.
You don't, yeah.
Okay.
It's just the human's instinct. But, you know, they said God didn't make a mistake in making man to be dual in nature. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, he said...
Genesis, hold on a second, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Genesis chapter 2, verse 7.
Okay.
He said, God molded man from the dust of the earth. That is the material nature, the mundane nature, right?
Right.
And breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living soul. And he said, I think that's Galatians chapter 5, verse 16. He said, the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. The flesh is the dust.
The flesh is the dust.
Yes, and the spirit is the breath of life, which is God in man. So the flesh is fighting against the spirit and the spirit against the flesh. And these two run contrary to the other. So the challenge that is always facing every one of us is this: which one dominates our consciousness?
So there has to be a winner. Why can't we just ride side by side with each other?
If we can, it's not an external fight.
Okay.
It's an internal warfare.
Oh, it's internal war. It's internal.
Yeah, it's internal. It's not external. Why is it internal? All the forces are raging within you. It is your duty to look at, because most of us look at life as a one huge macrocosm we move inside.
Yeah.
It's never going to end. But every day, God is sending us messages. In your neighborhood, you say, oh, this neighbor just died yesterday. Oh, that neighbor is in ICU. Oh, that neighbor is in this condition. As they are moving, God is letting us know that we have limited time. So let us make use of that limited time positively by letting the spiritual nature, which is love, to dominate our soul, then extend it to others. Let that ocean, the light, the radiance spread out. When it spreads out, we create harmony for every one of us. It gives us health. It gives us peace. It brings progress, because where there is peace, there is progress. Where there is love, there is harmony. And the energy of love has the capacity to even raise the dead.
Wow. Now that is a powerful message for the new year, because we see all of these things happening to other people. We don't think it's going to happen to us. I'm always amazed when there's a tornado over in this zip code.
Mm-hmm.
And the people are a murder. And the people would say, I never thought this could happen in my neighborhood. Well, why is your neighborhood excluded from? So give us some seeds to think about. You just mentioned it, because we see these things happening.
Mm-hmm.
It can happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we begin to, let's say, smooth the lumps out?
Well, first step is this. Let us have the ability to put ourselves into the other's shoes. Had it been me,
Had it been me.
how could I have handled the situation?
Okay.
Instead of having that feeling of privilege, oh, thank God it didn't happen to me.
Right. It can't happen in my neighborhood.
It can't happen to my neighborhood.
Right.
It's because those people are doing A, B, C, D will become judgmental. Our Lord Jesus Christ knew this is going to happen. That's why he told us in Matthew chapter 7, verses 1 and 2. He said what? Do not judge, so that you will not be judged. That with
Do
what?
not judge.
So that you will not be judged.
That's an all-day subject, you know.
Yes. So because whatsoever judgment you give to others will be returned back to you. Because when it happens in your neighborhood tomorrow, they say, so it has happened. It cannot happen to me. Then you get angry. God, why didn't it happen to the other side?
Yeah.
But he said, whatsoever you see in your life, give glory to God. Whether it is
Glory
good,
to God.
yes, or not so good, because nothing is ever bad.
Nothing is ever bad.
Yes.
The bishop said that. The bishop said nothing is ever bad. I wrote down just a little bit of your teaching, because this is a great lesson for the new year. We are going to have all these good things that you told us in the beginning of the show, but we're also going to have some things that are a bit challenging, was the word you used.
Yes.
Challenges and changes.
And changes.
And crisis.
And crisis. Yes. Because even the scripture said about it.
Okay.
Matthew 24 was clear. Christ said there will be wars and rumors of wars, there will be famines, there will be epidemics, pandemics, and so on and so forth. And he said they are the beginning of sorrows, not the end of it. Matthew 24 from 3 to 8.
It's Matthew 24.
From 3 to 8.
3 to 8.
Yeah. And when we understand that these things had already been written, that they will come to pass.
Exactly. And there are hundreds and thousands of years. Oh, that's what I don't understand. What do we have to do to beat it into our minds that you are not on this earth by yourself? You're here for a purpose.
Well, you see, most of the time, we human beings behave like overgrown schoolboys. You know why?
You said it, I didn't. Overgrown schoolboys, so we act immaturely.
Yeah, I included myself. Because most of the time, we expect only good things to happen to us.
Yeah.
We expect only good things to come our way. If the contrary happens, we start blaming God. God, why? But when all the good things we are coming, we never for 1 second ask God, why are the good things happening to us?
That's very true. We don't ask God why. Where should prayer be this year? What are you telling us about prayer? Should we pray whenever we feel like it? Is it a daily routine? Should that be part of our New Year's resolution that we keep?
Our prayer should be thankfulness, and it must be every moment. Anyway, already our breath praises God, whether you're an atheist.
That's right, because you're breathing every second.
Yeah. And what do you breathe? Breathe in the name of God, and breathe out the name of God, Yahweh. Yahweh. Yeah. So, and as you take in the breath of the name of God, you thank God for every situation.
Thank God
for every situation. No matter how it happens, because there was an illustration the Holy Father gave that a certain community were having some misfortunes, you know. Then they sent one of their children, a son, to go to the missionary school to learn the ways of God, so that when he comes back, he will be interceding for them on behalf of them to God.
Okay.
So when he came back after graduation, the first month of his arrival, the prince of the community died. And when they called him to pray, he said, God, thank you for this, because if this did not happen, something more terrible could have happened. The king looked at him and said, okay, let's wait and see. Another crisis happened again. He offered the same prayer. A prominent son of a community, very promising and very supportive, died. He made the same statement. They had another crisis. He made the same statement. So the royal council gathered and resolved that they wasted their money in sending him to school.
Wasted their money.
So what they are going to do is this, that they will get some assassins to kill him at a spot. And the assassins were lying in wait. Now, he had a bicycle, which he uses to go on his missionary duties. Riding the bicycle, getting to the spot where the assassins are, a root of a tree entered to the spoke of his bicycle, and the bicycle spun round and hit him on the ground. He sustained some bruises. As he stood up, he said, God, I thank you for this that happened to me, because if this had not happened, something worse could have happened.
Something worse. Yeah, something worse.
So now they invited him back, saying, our son, you really learned well from your school, because on that spot, we sent men to lay in wait and get you killed. And if you had not had that accident, you would have been a dead man. Now tell us, what should we do? He told them, what I learned from the school of God is this. Every situation we face, let us give God the glory. Let us not start blaming one another, start passing accusations to whom it does not concern, because God is responsible for everything. In giving him thanks and praises and appreciating him for the good thing he has done, which though at that moment doesn't seem to be so good.
But we should be thankful.
Yes, then God will change the scale, because they said when you appreciate the man that did something to you, he will do more. God is able to do good and evil. I know many Christians will question my statement.
Yes, they will.
Yes, but let us look at the scriptures.
All right.
This one, I'll read it out. Deuteronomy chapter 32.
Deuteronomy 32.
Verses 39 and 40.
Deuteronomy 34.
See what he said.
Okay.
See now that I, even I am he, and there's no God with me. I kill, and I make alive. I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. For I lift up my hand to heaven and say, I live forever. That is God making that statement.
Wow. Yeah. And that's in Deuteronomy.
Yes. And if you go to Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7.
Now, we had another message from Isaiah. This is Isaiah. Give me that again, please. Isaiah
chapter 45, from
45.
Verses 6 and 7.
Okay.
He said, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am the Lord, and there is none. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things.
I, the Lord. This is a brand new year. This is a brand new year. So what have you done? And the bishop is leading us down this trail. This is only the second week in January. So what changes, what adaptations are you making that he is giving to us? And that's really important, because if we could just learn to, I don't know, I get so tangled up and so frustrated with simple things of what God says. Like you just read, Deuteronomy. And we met, I think I just compared Deuteronomy 34 to Israel, which is
Deuteronomy 32.
32, I'm sorry. Okay.
Verses 39 and 40.
39 and 40. And then earlier it was Isaiah 66, and then to Isaiah 45, 6 and 7. That's a path right there. Right? It's a pathway. Just those three stations.
And you know, they help people out of depression. If you realize
Depression.
that a lot of people today do so many foolish things because of depression. And why is the depression so? They think everything is within the human ambit to address. No.
No.
Christ said it, Matthew 11, 28. Say, come to me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden. He said, I will give you rest. Then he said, take my yoke upon me. What upon me? What's the yoke of Christ? Tolerance, patience, forgiveness, love.
Forgiveness.
Yes. Say, take my yoke upon you and learn from me, and you find rest unto your soul. To this year, 2024, America is going for a major election. Sentiments will be stoked up.
We're all dreading it.
Tension will be will be on the highest.
Yes, it will
No,
be.
people now are grandstanding, trading words. And you know, politics, according to Webster's dictionary, 9th Collegiate Dictionary, he said politics is a game that is played with the sole intent to win. And every means is applicable. Lie, blackmail, character assassination, murder, bitterness, rancor, hate, anything. The objective of the actors, the gladiators, is to win. And if you look at the ancient Roman Empire, what does the gladiators do? One gladiator must leave the arena alive. And for him to live alive, the other gladiators will be in the grave.
But now we have this thing. We won't accept what the people want in an election. I mean, the election can go very smoothly. We can come out with a winner. And then you have a series of voters that don't want to accept it.
Okay.
Just don't want to accept it. What is that? Is that a gravy spilling over?
Well, let's call it narcissism.
Narcissism. I'm not saying that well. What is it? Say it again.
Narcissism.
Narcissism.
Self-love.
Self-love.
Yes. Every politician wakes up in the morning thinking himself the winner. He has no room in his heart for losing or concession. And when they don't win, they may accept that loss temporarily, but they must generate a negative energy against the winner, so that in the next round of the election, the people have been so prejudiced against him that now they will look at him thinking he's the best option. But ironically, they are just the same 10 and 10 pence in the same bucket.
And then you have to wonder, what is the cure, if there is a cure, and how do we behave? Because there has to be a behavior to that. But we cannot allow a few people to destroy the morals of this country. Well, I know we're getting off base here, but you know, as we're going into this political year, I have deliberately over the years just not gotten involved with politics.
And it's better.
It is, but it's still a divine part of our lives.
Well, you see,
I mean, you agree or disagree? Set us straight here.
The world is graduating from democracy to theocracy. And if you look at the definition, democracy, they said, is government of the people, by the people, for the people.
Okay.
So the human family is telling God, hey, stay on your own. We can take care of our business. That is even why in instituting democracy, they violate the law of God. Matthew chapter 5, verses 37 and 38 says, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is the throne of God, nor by the earth, for it is his footstool, nor by the hair on your head, because you cannot make one strand white or black. He said, but let your yes be yes, and your no be no. For anything other than this comes from evil. When you want to go to elective office, is that the first question, a Christian or Muslim? You say, Christian, or you hold the Bible. You swear by the word the Bible is against. The government of God is theocracy. Government of God instituted by God for man. He made man. He knows what is in man. He understands man. He packaged man. And he knows the roadmap he had to us for man. Yeah. But democracy had to come because there's a process. It's a long journey from monarchism, feudalism, and so on and so forth. Now, the best in the human administrative and political ingenuity is democracy. That is the best man can offer, given certain limited rights. But remember, people's right does not necessarily translate to mean the need and the rights of those that want to direct the policy. A train driver may be a lunatic and has 1,000 passengers on the train. At that moment of lunacy, he can lead all of them to the sea.
He's a bishop. and we appreciate you so much. I have to say that. I don't say that enough, because I went on the website and I got this message that says, say that again, Bishop. And I thought, I scrolled back up on the computer and I said, who said this? You know, it's one of the ladies that listen to you. But that's exactly what you're telling us in the Bible. So now you're sort of telling us that politics is in the Bible. We just have to listen to the words that are there. Democracy. I didn't see politics in the Bible. Okay. It's in the dictionary. It's in the dictionary.
Yeah, okay, but you know, the human human family has evolved to this point today that they have an administrative setup that gives the common man certain level of rights. Okay. You know, which is not common across the globe. That's why America stands out as a model. It's not a strange thing that is everywhere around the world they are coming to America. They have a dream, they are coming to America. That's right. They want to share the dream, they are coming to America, because despite the shortness of human accommodation, America gives a space for anybody to explore their dreams and possibly realize it. In that respect, they've done so well. But remember, there's a sheriff that owns the town.
There's a sheriff in town
that owns the town, and that is God. Yes. And he's leading us to establish his own kingdom. And he has brought it. That's why everywhere you go now, they are looking for God to come, because in him there's fairness. Problem we have with the human system, no matter how perfect the laws are, is this: the human nature plays a role. Nepotism, despotism, self-aggrandizement, protectionism. Yes. Mine is mine and mine is right.
And we really want as much the family to stay together and live together in this country.
Yes.
I mean, I remember the stories that they told me about my grandfather, who was born in 1884. And on his ranch or farm or whatever it was a peach orchard. There were other people that were hired, even in 1884. This is after the Civil War. But it's still the border. So this problem we're having on the border is not a new problem. That's very important. It's not a new problem. But we've always tried to live together because everybody wants to work and everybody eats and raise their families and education, etc. But for some reason, we just had this escalation, and it became the big bad wolf. Are we ever going to solve this little issue? I know with God helps, we can do that. I mean, so you've given us a couple of scriptures today, and that can help us. Challenging and changes in crisis.
The challenges bring about the changes, and the challenges and the crisis bring about the changes. You know, if you look at the human history, the leadership may have the best intention, but remember, look at the fingers. All vary in sizes.
Okay.
As all fingers are not equal, so are all humans not the same. That is where that love we always talk, which is supposed to be the guiding principle for this year, because when we bring forth those accommodation, loving one another, trying to relate with one another, you know, then it will enable us accommodate one another, realizing that your strength could be my weakness. And that is the core message leader Olumba Obu brought to humanity. We call brotherhood of the cross
and
star.
Yeah.
Brotherhood means a state of brothers, a new spiritual civilization, a new understanding, a new approach to our mutual coexistence. And that brotherhood encompasses not just man, but beasts and birds and aquatic life. Then the cross, what is the cross? That ability, your willingness to, this one did. In fact, I would have blown his head off, but you hold that finger that can pull the trigger. You're looking at the gun or the knife, your hand is shaking, but your self-will is telling you he is your brother, she is your sister. He made a mistake, you do make your own too. Forgive him, accommodate him. I'm sorry, it's not so good, but then, if not for, that's enough. Then the star, with that forgiveness, with that harmony, comes a great peace. On earth today, we have so much we can give each other. Yeah. Go to Africa, they have one of the richest soil structures on earth. But most of the lands that have the soil is in turmoil. People are running away from the land. People are starving in the city and the urban areas because those who are supposed to produce the food in the rural areas don't have security to do it.
Don't have security, so they're invaded.
They're invaded and they run away from the farmlands. The land is there ready to give the yield, but there's no human to operate the land. Go to Ukraine. They're among the biggest grain suppliers on earth. But today Ukraine is in shambles. Who is going to work the farm?
Yes.
Go to other parts of the world. In everywhere you go, like Congo, for instance, has enough to feed the whole of Africa. But for over 50, it's so rich with mineral resources. But in all the communities where they have this, there's war. The people are running. So nobody's exploiting the land. God gave us everything. He provided all we need. I think actually somebody said something one day that stuck with me. He said God made everything. He said, check the Bible, Genesis from what? Chapter 1 from verses 1 to 25. He said, everything God made, he pronounced them as good. Then man started experimenting with the goodness of God's creation, and he created something he called evil. And in the darkness of his mind, he could not comprehend it, so the darkness of his thought gave it a name. He called it devil, his own manifestation, the darkness of his evil, which if he allowed the light of God to rule his heart, the light of God, he said, the Son of Man came that we might have life and have it abundantly. And leader Olumba Obu has brought forth back this new spiritual civilization to us again. Say, hey, it has been so in the beginning. Goodness has already been there on the wings, waiting to be ushered in. Now, open your heart. Let this brotherhood of life come in.
Brotherhood
of life.
That's a precious word.
Yes.
You know, when you stop and think about brotherhood of the cross.
And star.
And star.
So let it come in. Let us tolerate one another. Let us resonate with one another. Let us accommodate one another. Then we'll enjoy the glory of God. There will be peace on earth. There will be nothing like even time. He told us the time will come that you will not need visa to go to any country. All this protectionism, don't let them come in. This is my own. This is my backyard. This is my father's house. All will give way. We'll realize that the earth is a garden full of goodness. But we refuse to, we deny each other the opportunity of enjoying the goodness.
He's Bishop Joe from Brotherhood of the Cross and Star. We've been waiting for him for 3 weeks for the new year to get here because the message is so profound. And if you can just let it sink in a little bit, there's an open, wide door. It's like watching the break of dawn or the dawn of the day. That's what he brings to us. To all of the audiences out there and everywhere that listen to him, it's we're going to continue this during the new year. And I know our time is just about up. We do this all the I can almost sense it now. Well, you can start, a little bell goes off in your head like, okay. But if you have any questions, and I appreciate everything I do. Going into the new year, we're going to sort of hype that up a bit. we'll talk to the studio about taking your questions. We've done that before, but we want the bishops to talk as much as possible and let you write down as much as possible. So let me hear from you. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, and it would be good if they can have some question, because so many young men have been reaching out, say they want to know more.
Yes, they do.
Because it's impacting on them.
So, and then they don't know how to ask the question either.
Yes.
But I've got a feeling you can sense what they're going to want to know and give them the right answers.
Yeah, sometimes, but it's equally good, when they know that their voice is heard, they will appreciate it. But all the same, the message is very simple. Let us come together. So we have to come together and practice this new law. Moses brought the laws. Our Lord Jesus Christ brought love. Mm-hmm. Leader Olumba Obu has brought the brotherhood. So where we come together as one family of love, bound by one bond, one God, one faith, one baptism. And if we see ourselves as one family, like in this year now, mm-hmm. It's just starting. A lot of things are going to take place. But even in your own political camps, wherever you find yourself, remember, the other man is your brother, the other lady is your sister. You had difference of opinion, but it's one country and one nation, too, one goal,
one planet.
And one planet. And the objective is to see that America returns or rises in glory.
Yes.
Nigeria rises, Africa, Asia, that now there will be more peace on the earth instead of killing and violence. Because what happens to A, the echo touches B. Yeah. But when we come in that one love of one God, under one bond of love in the brotherhood of life, there'll be peace on earth and we'll enjoy this world.
There's your New Year's resolution. There's your New Year guiding principle coming from Bishop Joe. Stay with us during this year. Go through the entire year with us. You're going to be a greater person for it, I can assure you. My time is up. We're going to listen to the choir and possibly to one of my favorite artists. And I'll be back next week. We're doing a series on the Honorable Etta Bernice Johnson. We're getting it together right now. I was on her media team and before her death, of course. And I want you to know that she covered the globe. This is a U.S. Congresswoman, and the district was the 30th district in Dallas, Texas. She passed away a couple of weeks ago at the age of 89. The most amazing homegoing services I have ever witnessed. So we'll be back with that story about her. And if you would, say a prayer for Bishop Joe and for Bishop Emmanuel, because they're going to hang around and change the world. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. And for all of us.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, beautiful.